Good morning and welcome to the August press conference of the city manager and the mayor. We have a number of things we would like to visit with you all about. They cover a wide spread of activities in the city. Most recently, I'll speak to our National Night Out that the city sponsored that we had there at the Event Center at 17th and Topeka. This was a first time effort to try and bring a lot of communities together into one single place for the National Night Out, while still encouraging neighborhoods to have their own National Night Out if they wanted to. But my wife and I went down there and saw a number of city officials down there visiting with a lot of the city staff that had set up a lot of resources. I think that's the biggest thing that I was impressed about, is that there was a collection of just about every kind of resource a citizen might need that the city can provide that was set up, and they were very welcoming. I saw long lines at different tables depending on what they were presenting. So I think that was an efficient way to get the information out that we'd like to share with the community at large. Sometimes when you have too many different locations to try and present all of that information, something gets left behind or gets just not mentioned. But this way, having it in one place, I think was really well. And on that day, it was inviting to have it inside because it was a pretty hot day that day. People enjoyed being inside and being able to stop and visit with city staff. So congratulations to the city staff for all the time and work they put into putting that together. And I thank the community for coming out and showing up, because they showed us that there still is a need for that National Night Out event, and they adapted to the change, and we had a good turnout. So that's one of the things I wanted to bring up and talk a little bit about. But on the back of that, that's a pun intended, there is a backpack effort that we had too, and I'll let the city manager speak to that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor mentioned, a few weeks ago, the City of Topeka hosted a backpack giveaway. We had some sponsors that helped make that possible, to include Walmart, GraceMed, and United Healthcare. We actually gave out, through the contributions, we're actually able to give out over 500 backpacks. I believe we served a little over 150 families. And again, the volunteers, our sponsors, made that possible. We still do have some more backpacks to give out. Actually, we did do income-based as far as the availability of those backpacks. If there's still community members who need those resources, those backpacks and some school supplies in them, feel free to reach out to our Office of Inclusive Communities. They can be reached at 785-368-3098 or can be found on social media. We also are also looking for feedback from the community on that event and how we can make it better in the coming year. And then also do want to talk about the public safety forum that was held last week with our Topeka Police Department. It was actually co-hosted between our Topeka Police Department, our co-compliance department, and our Office of Inclusive Communities. I think we had a very good turnout in which the community got to hear from the chief and members of our staff on the various public safety initiatives that are going on within our community. Again, that forum provided stats on what we're seeing is really a downward trend in most of our violent crime, and so very happy to report that, very happy and very appreciative of not just our Topeka Police Department, but all of our public safety partners. I thought it was a great event, again, going along the vein of trying to be more involved and be more inclusive with our communities, giving opportunities for the community to meet our police officers, as well as the chief and his staff.
I was trying to remember exact date. Maybe I can get some help on that. There is an event coming up where the community can, in fact, engage with the new recruit class?
Yes, sir. Chief Vallejo has, I believe it's on September 8th at West Ridge Mall. I believe it's in the afternoon. Chief Vallejo is definitely giving credit to our partners at Advisors Excel for hosting us for that event. This is going to be the first of its kind. Again, it'll give the community a first look and a first opportunity to meet our newest officers who will be part of the future of the department. And I hope that that class continues to do well. It's seated 23. I believe as of last week we still had all 23. And so, it should be a good event as well. And again, this goes along providing the community with opportunities to meet our public safety teams ahead of or outside of just calling for service. That was one of the things that Chief Vallejo committed to. It's something that's been important to me since I've come on board. And we've just talked about how we provide more opportunities for the public to mingle and meet and interact with our officers outside of just calling for service. So very, very excited about that.
Yeah, that's a good effort. That's a good supplement to the talk that everybody hears about community policing and how that is the connection to the community it serves. And community policing takes in so many different aspects, but, getting to know the people who serve in community policing, getting to know them as people and not just as police officers, I think that's important. So it's important both to the community, but it's extremely important for those new recruits because they're coming into a job that if they haven't had experience beforehand, they just really may not know what to expect. But to get that opportunity to feel welcomed by the community, that people are interested in what they do, I think that's a very good start. And so I appreciate the chief taking that initiative. There have been some efforts in the past, but it's been a while since we've had this opportunity to have that direct communication with the public. So thank you for that. One other thing I might want to bring up at this time, you mentioned Office of Inclusive Communities. The city of Topeka is designated as a age-friendly city by the AARP organization. And right now we have a survey out. I don't know if you want to speak to the details of that.
It's really about figuring out what is most important to members of a community who may be eligible for AARP. I'm starting to get my card. I think they're starting to reach out to me actually, and I was like, wait. But anyways, again, just more opportunities to figure out what is most important to everybody within our community. But this one's specific to those things that are important to our AARP eligible community members. Can't really serve really any segment of our community without knowing what's important. And again, those are the things that guide our future goals, our future efforts. So it's that survey can actually be found out on our social media pages currently.
Well, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
One other thing that's been discussed quite a bit, depending on how you get your news and what you hear, with regards to public service and public safety, is the Topeka Fire Department and its efforts to look at the efficiencies that we have with regards to response time and locations of our fire departments. This discussion has been going on for a while. It's not new. It's not something that happens overnight. A lot of people have been involved, and there's been every effort made to include those people who it affects, not just the residents who are served by the firefighters, but the firefighters themselves who have to respond to these calls. You probably kind of figured that they have a pretty good idea of what works best to help them get to those needed calls. So this is something that the city manager has really taken seriously and put a lot of effort into. And so if you want to speak a bit to that, it's a bit complicated. Yes. And people get lost in some of the changes, but if you could speak to that, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So earlier this year, as we were discussing our capital improvement plan, our long-term plan, we noted that we had a fire station programmed in, I believe it was in 2029, if I'm not mistaken, 2028, 2029. And so the question that council posed was, well, are we going to replace the station, or are we going to carry out, as part of the plans of the last, I believe it was the 2021 Fire Commission report. And so at that time, it was essentially, without relooking at that fire station relocation plan, we said, well, right now the recommendation would be to replace Fire Station 10. However, we said that we would go back and determine if it was in the city's best interest to replace a fire station or to build out a new fire station as called out in the 2021 Fire Commission study. The team went back, looked at it, and it came back that the recommendation should be that we should build out the new fire station needed in the northwest part of town. I believe it's 6th and Governor Row area. The challenge is that we recognize the budget, the budget position that we're in. And so where that plan called out to build the fire station in Northwest Topeka and add a fire company, we know that right now adding a fire company is going to be financially pressuring. So what the team has looked at is actually doing relocations that were kind of called out within the 2021 Fire Commission study. And so the recommendation that we discussed last week, the first move was to relocate Fire Station 1, which is off of Quincy, to the northwest area of town, and also relocating the fire company that's with it. There were a couple of things that we looked at the overall the overall recommendation. One, how do we increase 4-minute coverage for the entire community as a network? We understand that by adjusting some fire stations, there's gonna be some parts of town where the response time may go up, but the overall goal is to expand our 4-minute coverage to as much as the city as possible. And so every adjustment or every move of the fire stations, which included fire stations 1, 11, and 6, every one of those moves increased the 4-minute coverage across the network. Again, understanding that if you have a fire station across the street that may be relocating, your time will probably go up. But again, overall as a network, the 4-minute coverage is projected to increase for the entire city. So that's one. Also, two, we looked at some of the fire stations that have limited capabilities, particularly fire stations 1 and 6, that don't have the ability to have separate female facilities, showers, restrooms, things of that nature. And so we looked at a number of factors as we came up with the recommendations. As we discussed last week, this is, again, the first of many discussions to be had with the community. We mentioned last week that this plan, again, dependent upon funding availability, can go anywhere from 5 to 15 years. So we have a little bit of time to have the conversations, figure out what we want to do as a community, as policymakers, and again, how we move that forward. I do understand, and as I mentioned last week, in speaking to a couple of the council members, particularly the representative of District 2, I'm very sensitive to the community's desire to have and maintain a public safety presence, which is why I've had the discussions with Chief Vallejo to ensure that if we move, Chief Vallejo and Interim Chief Longstaff, if we move any of the companies from those locations or we relocate some of those stations, we will be presented with opportunities to potentially put in a police unit that doesn't have to be at the LEC, or maybe we can utilize Fire Station 11 as a museum, or where we need to store additional apparatus. So again, very sensitive to the community's desire to maintain public safety presence, and as we move forward in these discussions, we'll make sure that stays at the forefront of our discussions.
I think it's important to remember that even as we work through this process, you mentioned a few ideas and thoughts. Nothing's set in stone.
No.
So to get in a hurry to say, well, we can't have that, I think is getting in a rush, and maybe will complicate more the opportunities to come up with different ideas. So to be open to those possibilities of how we reutilize some of our assets, I think, is important for people to understand that it's not getting rid of, it's being more efficient with what we have. I think that's important for us to keep in mind. Along those lines, it's recognized by the community what the fire department, the police department, and AMR as a service provider does for this community. So a gentleman by the name of Milo Reyna, who is the general manager of Cable Dahmer, he is going to host this coming Friday a First Responders Appreciation Day. So I think it's important for us to notice that. There have been other businesses in Topeka who have also taken the opportunity to recognize the service of those departments. And so this coming Friday, I think it's from 11 to 4, he's inviting the first responders, AMR and fire department and the police department. And I think he's also extended it to some of the service military people out at the Guard. So he's invited them to come down and just kind of visit with each other, provide a nice lunch. I think it would be nice if there are citizens who feel the same opportunity is good for the community to show their appreciation for the work that's done by these service providers, to stop by, say hi, thank them for their service, and get a chance to meet some of the people who respond to our critical needs in the city. So I want to thank that private individual and company for doing that. I think it's important for our citizens to show their appreciation as much as it is for staff and elected officials. So I wanted to bring that up. That's going to come up this Friday. Also, today, after this press conference, there is going to be a groundbreaking for what I think is a significant addition to the city of Topeka, and that is Washburn University will be opening up, or groundbreaking, for the Washburn Tech North in North Topeka over at the old Kmart building. I think that's significant because Washburn has really taken on the task of becoming part of the neighborhoods that they serve as a population, to bring and encourage more and more students to the university and its responsibilities and abilities to provide training in all areas of education, not just degree programs, but in skilled programs that the VOTEC facilities provide. So again, this morning there will be a groundbreaking at the Washburn University Tech North in North Topeka. And so those of you who might want to stop by and maybe get a quick look, it's pretty bare bones right now, but they really want people to see that this is coming because it will have an effect, I believe, in that area of town. So to make sure that they know that they're part of every effort that Washburn University is in providing quality education for Shawnee County and the whole region for that matter. So I just want to make sure that I mentioned that before I forget, and I'd like to have a nice crowd show up and see that future for Washburn Tech in North Topeka. So I wanted to bring that up. Also, there was one other, in North Topeka, the Get Down Downtown that they had recently was a big success. My appreciation to Noto and Pedro Concepcion for putting that together. They had a huge crowd. People were just enjoying the atmosphere that Noto provides as a special place in Topeka for the Arts District. So those are things that are going on in this town that I encourage everyone to try and get to. It's not for any specific group of people or any specific part of town. It's for everyone. So take advantage of what we have that's going on. In that line, I'm going to make a plug for a group called Shades of Theater. Some of you may or may not have heard of it. It's an organization that has been providing live theater programs to help represent a diverse group of actors that sometimes may not have gotten the opportunity to participate in theater here in Topeka. We have the performing arts, we have civic theater, and this is another group that provides different different kinds of plays. And this coming weekend, it'll be, I think, both Friday and Sunday, I believe. We have to check. Yeah, 28th and 31st. It's called A Raisin in the Sun. And some of you may be familiar with that movie. I know I am from, I think Sidney Poitier played the lead role in that. It's a really compelling story, and I've talked to people who have attended already, because it was this last weekend as well, and they really were impressed with the level of performance and the story that it brings to the city of Topeka. We're a rich community in a lot of cultures, and I think talking about what we have going on is important so that people can try and make plans to attend whatever they can, or ask questions about it. Or maybe there's another opportunity that will be presented in a different format. I just want to make those opportunities aware to the community so that they get a chance to attend. I think that you had one more piece, City Manager, that's really got everybody's interest, and that's all the road construction that we have there.
Yeah, we did restart the work on Southwest Fairlawn yesterday, 28th through 22nd. That work is actually expected to continue through October 2026. It's not a simple mill and overlay or resurfacing project where we just skim, some asphalt off the top of the road and put it back. This is a major reconstruction where we're redoing a lot of the underground infrastructure, the drainage and so forth. And so when you're working on lines at cross intersections, it's very difficult to maintain that street being open to the public. I'll tell you that we have a very detail-oriented public works director in Steve Groen, that where he can ensure that we can maintain traffic, he'll make sure that we do. But this is one that, for the safety of the public, we have to close it. Along those lines, Topeka Boulevard from 15th to 21st, roadworks supposed to begin there next Tuesday, the 2nd. Again, for this one, Steve pushed to ensure that we maintain one northbound and one southbound lane of traffic on Topeka Boulevard for the duration of the project. Along those lines, we're asking the public, as part of KDOT's Quincy Viaduct project, to ensure that the detour routes are adhered to. The detours, I'll tell you that we've had some concerns come from our Noto neighborhood, and we just want to make sure that asking the public adhere to the detours that go through the PQV. I'll also talk about KDOT as far as they have an upcoming bridge replacement project on California. They had an open house on it, I believe it was a couple weeks ago. And once that project's underway, I believe it's going to probably be anywhere from 9 to 12 months of work, but they are planning to do that when we have the closure on PQV. Again, that's when we look at the totality and the investments that are happening within the community, I have to point out that these are things that are consistently complained about. Probably the status or the condition of a number of our streets. Unfortunately, when you go to actually do the work, there's construction, and that's all part. I call it the growing pains, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I find it very interesting because, a lot of times we get complaints about the conditions of our streets, and then we get something funded, we go to do the work, then it's like, the street's closed and I'm inconvenienced. And then once the street's done and it looks beautiful, then the calls come in, well, now they're speeding on it because it's so smooth. So it's a continuous cycle. Again, hats off to our crews, hats off to our contractors. I just want to ask the communities for patience from the community as we go through these improvements. When you have calls for those improvements, it is sometimes a little inconvenient as we're doing those improvements. But doing it all in the name of trying to improve our community and the overall condition of our infrastructure.
I'm take this opportunity to, you mentioned a couple names, compliment Director Gronin for his efforts and supported and helped by your Deputy Mayor Braxton Copley.
You
I
just
think-
promoted him?
Yeah,
Deputy City Manager?
Deputy City Manager is what I said. For Braxton?
Braxton.
Braxton.
Yeah.
Braxton, you know who I mean. I think he's working along with Steve have really put together a good team and plan, and with a lot of consideration for how these needed improvements affect the community and how people have to work around them. But I think working together, they've been a good team. I'm glad that Steve is with us with the city. So
I have to throw in the plug for Director Davis too,
Oh, yeah.
utilities, because a lot of these projects, they're between Director Davis and Director Groen, they're coordinating the underground work with, the utility work with the street work to ensure that we don't pave a street and then have to come back later,
Oh, yeah.
dig it up and put in the utilities. And so the collaboration between the teams has been phenomenal.
good. One of the things we mentioned about the Appreciation Day for the first responders, we also have an event coming up for code compliance. If
Yeah.
you want to speak to that.
Yeah, again, along the lines of meeting the community where they're at, Code Compliance is hosting a Coffee with Code on September 20th at the Oakland Community Center. Again, just another opportunity for the public to interact with the folks that we work for. The Code Compliance, getting to meet the folks that we work for in the public. And so, again, opportunities for questions, opportunities to share the mission of the teams and where a lot of our efforts are focused. And so just another opportunity to come and meet the people who actually, do the day-to-day jobs for us out in the community. So looking forward to that event.
Yeah, that's another gentleman, John Chardine, who is really needs to get a lot of thanks for a lot of things that he addresses that comes to his attention that can be real frustrating and difficult to deal with. But John has been very responsive and organized in his efforts to try and help us bring people to a better place through code of compliance. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to just say along those lines, John's worked very closely with our city attorney's office on some initiatives that we're excited to bring forward for discussion to really try to strengthen some of our processes and some of our opportunities to enforce some of those codes. And along those lines, I don't know if you want to speak about our city attorney's office.
Mhm. Well, I don't know what else you have to speak to, but I want to make sure that I take this opportunity as we've talked about, identified, and complimented city staff. There's one person I really want to say thank you to, and that is to our city attorney, Amanda Stanley. I think sometimes people get the wrong impression about what a city attorney's job is, and that is that she is not the city manager's attorney or my attorney. She is the city's attorney for everyone. And she works hard, and she has worked very clearly to be visible in her actions and how she represents the city. Being a long-term resident of the city of Topeka, I've seen a lot of city attorneys come and go. There have been some really good ones. There have been some who have taken us through troubled times. But I think City Attorney Amanda Stanley has performed exceptionally well as our city attorney. She is represented as well also at the state legislature. She, working in combination with the staff over at the League of Municipalities, have really brought us to a point where we have an organized, effective, I think, legislative presence at the State House. So that's important that some people don't probably even know that that's part of her responsibilities. So I want to thank her for the time that she's been here with us in Topeka. I will miss her as a good confidant and as a trusted city employee. So I wish her well in her next position. But I just want to make sure that we take the time to acknowledge the good work that our staff does under some sometimes very difficult circumstances. So, unless you have something else, City Manager?
No, you said it all, Mayor. She's definitely left. She's definitely set a high bar for city attorneys to come here in Topeka.
Well, we will sit for questions if you have any. Carson?
You guys mentioned various different street projects, and I'm curious what the decisions were like to do them all at once rather than spacing them out.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? When we look at the availability of detours, when we look at work like Port Quincy Viaduct, what that does to the other areas, we're looking at a lot of the north-south work because we know that there's upcoming projects, 17th, as an example, that we know we need to get those done before before some of those east-west major corridors are under construction. So we look at the timing of everything, not just city projects, but also the things that the state may be doing, and how we decide which projects come up next.
Any questions?
Any hotel Topeka updates you can give us?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the team continues to negotiate with Endeavor Hotel Groups based upon the letter of intent that was submitted. And so we're, as I mentioned yesterday in another interview, I can't give you a real timeline as to when those negotiations will be completed, but we do have a goal and continue to stick to the goal of trying to sell it by the end of the year.
Has the county been part of that this time? And I guess they always have, but I don't know. But how's that come along with Maynard Conference?
I will just say that there are ongoing discussions between the county and Endeavor, yes, as part of this transaction, yes.
I'll go as far as to say I'm encouraged by their willingness to engage in good conversations about helping us get to that point that'll be beneficial to both the city and the county. Any other? Carson?
One of the topics tonight at City Council is the property tax rates, and I was wondering if you guys have anything to say about that, on the numbers of them going up or down, if you have any specifics on that.
I don't know right now.
Yeah, no, City Council, they essentially made the decision to cap us where we're at as far as the rate, and so, yeah, I don't know of anything beyond that.
Okay. No other questions. I thank you for your attendance and your attention. I wish you well and have a great week.